For now on the programme, British police are criticising the Home Secretary Theresa May after she ordered more checks of the use of taser guns. It's amid concerns that officers often use the device to stun mentally ill people and ethnic minorities. The chairman of the Metropolitan Police Federation calling the move, another outrageous waste of time. Officers will now have to note the ethnic background of every person they physically restrain, and they accuse the government of creating unnecessary red tape. Here's Marina Kosareva.
This way of restraining suspects is causing concern in the UK. Not because it's brutal, but because of whom it's being used against most. Mentally ill people and people from ethnic minorities. This graph shows how much the use of tasers has increased in recent years. But look closer. In London, around 30% of those tasered are emotionally or mentally distressed, while 50% are from minority ethnic backgrounds. That's according to the London Assembly.
This is leading to an escalation of police force against people. You know, it's a bit like the United States. You know, their tactics are coming over here. You can see from the statistics that the number of times that the police are using this is huge, and it's grown massively. You know, and I think it will lead to a massive loss of trust with the police. And I think that's a real dangerous escalation of police powers.
Activists are pointing to America as an example of what not to do. Not only has taser use been on the rise there as well, but so have taser-related deaths, over 500 since 2001, according to Amnesty International, prompting warnings to impose stricter limits on police taser use, a sentiment echoed here in the UK. But not everyone agrees.
Tasers fill a gap in the continuum of force between the use of batons and CS spray and the use of firearms, and for bladed implement type attacks and incidents like that, they're essential.
But right now in the UK, the debate is not about whether tasers should be used, but rather about when. This has prompted the British Home Secretary to review how the police use electric shocks to restrain suspects. She has promised to publish new data on detentions showing the age and ethnicity of those held. Some, though, argue this will only increase bureaucracy and put a further strain on the police force.
The Home Secretary is asking for details of the use of tasers. That's all been recorded already. What will add to the obligations of the police is to provide the data to the Home Office so that they can publish it. Now, that's a bureaucratic exercise, and obviously that collation and supply of data does take somebody some time.
The Home Office understands that tasers are an important operational tool, but they also want to make sure that ethnic minorities and potentially vulnerable people aren't being singled out as part of this tactic. They want transparency, but from what's already been revealed, that transparency may prove to be uncomfortable for some. Marina Kosareva, RT, London.
Meanwhile, police in London have rounded up dozens of Occupy Democracy activists this week. It was in an attempt to clear Parliament Square from activists camping there. Having begun last Friday, the movement has since changed into something more than just an anti-austerity demonstration, as correspondent Harry Fear now reports.
This now week-long protest movement was set out to combat the anti-austerity measures of the Western governments and poverty and inequality, global inequality. The police, over the last several days, have mounted a handful of operations to remove protesters from the main element of Parliament Square, taking away possessions and in some cases making arrests. There have been almost 40 arrests. Most of those people have been charged with breaking bylaws. The comedian Russell Brand is making very clear that he sees a real core legitimacy to these protests.
People are coming together to demand democracy peacefully, not violently, in a humorous way. People from different backgrounds with different beliefs are coming together for us for a basic fundamental right that we're told we already have. The police themselves, before long, will be on the right side of this argument. I'm sure before long the police will join these protesters and we'll see a true unity, and we'll see some semblance of democracy in this square, a symbol of our great democracy in this country, a democracy that exists in name but not in action.
Protesters are set to stay here and make their voice heard outside the British seat of democracy.